So guys, welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about how to load your data set into your eViews software. And whenever you open your software, you can have this kind of interface. You have the eViews work file, you have the command interface, and you have the file, the edit object, the interface as well. So if you click on this, show this screen on startup, whenever you open your eViews, this work file will appear. But if you unclick this, whenever you open your eViews, it will not appear. So whichever way, you can always use the file button. You can always click on the file button and then create a work file, or you open an existing work file, or you also open a file such as Excel on your eViews. So you also have a support, eViews Illustrated, you have eViews App, and also online tutorials. So if you're creating a work file newly, you need to click on create a new eViews work file. If you have already saved eViews work file, you click on the second one, you click on this. However, if you also have a saved data on your Excel format, your data has been cleaned and ready for analysis, you can as well open a foreign file such as Excel. So, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we will be considering two ways on how to upload your data set in eViews. The first one can be done manually, while the second one can be imported via the open foreign files such as Excel. So we will be looking at these two different scenarios. So firstly, let's start with creating a work file. You click on this, and then it brings to you work file structure types. So depending on the kind of objectives you want to achieve or the kind of data set you have to check this frequency. Do you have unstructured data? Do you have undated data? Do you have a dated and regular frequency? Do you have a balanced panel? Depending on the kind of data you have. If you have the unstructured data, whereby then there are no dates in your data set, it's just like just arrange normal distributions. You could just type the number of observations, maybe it's 2,000 observations, and then you click on OK. If you have a dated regular frequency, and you have to check the frequency of your data. Is it an annual data like 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994? You click on this and you type the start date 1986 into 2017. Then the work file names is optional, the pages is optional. You can type the topic of your project on the work file names for easy access. So, but if your data is semi-annual data, you have to click on this. If your data is a quarterly data, you have to click on this. If your data is a monthly data biannual, you have to click on this. So if your data, for example, is a monthly data, you have to type the number of year, semicolon 01. 01 signifies January. Also semicolon 12, the end date in 2017. So that's how you input your data, and you click on OK. If your data is quarterly, 01 and 04, and you click on quarterly. So however, for the purpose of these tutorials, we will be looking at dated frequency. When you're working with the balance panel, the balance panel data talks about having a cross-sectional data and time series data. For example, you're working on a number of countries and the certain number of years. You're working with 5 countries data sets, and you're considering 5 years or 10 year span. So the cross-sectional data is when you're working with different number of observations and then with a quite number of years. That's the time series and the cross-sectional data. It can be a company, it can be a firms, it can be a countries, and so on and so forth. So you're working with a balanced panel data whereby the date across the countries or the firms you're using is even. It simply means balanced panel data. So depending on your data sets, your data set can also be annually data. It can be a semi-annual, quarterly, or monthly data set. So whichever data set you have to click the frequency and indicate the start date and the end date. And the number of course sections implies the number of companies or the firms you're using. If it's 5, you have to type 5 on these sections. And the work file name as well is also optional. And the page's name is also optional. And you click on OK. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll be working with a dated regular frequency, and then we'll be working with an annual data set. And the start date is 1986, and the end date is 2017, and you click on OK. So the work file has been created. So the next thing for you to do is to create your data set into the work file. So you can as well use the command sections. This is the command. You can use the command sections, or you can upload your data set into the system. So if I want to use the command section, I have to type data. Data is a command. It's compulsory for you to input data into your command. Data, and you have to list out your variables on like the way it is on your Excel. GDP, you have the market capitalization, MCAP, and we also have the all share index, ESI. So once you press enter, your data set has been created. You can expand this. So this is the ways to input your data manually. Then you can click on this. You have to copy from the Excel and you paste. As you can see, the data set has been pasted into the eViews work file. This is how to input your data set manually. Your data set is ready for analysis. So, however, if you want to upload your data set like from Excel's or from Excel's file, this is another way to do it. Let me delete this. So you click on the file, you click on a open foreign data as work file, and you look for where you save your data. It can be on the desktops. So I saved mine on the desktop, so I'm going to click on sample data. When you click on it, you open. So, and it gives you this. So in my Excel sheet, I have a data 1 and data 2. Data 2 is a log transform data, because you need to prepare your data for proper analysis. You need to remove the outliers from your data. You need to do a lot of old data cleaning. So you have to click on the Excel sheet on your Excel. So this is the raw data. So, and then if you look at this area, read series by rows, you can transpose your data whichever way you want to make your data accessible by you. So I will leave it like this. We have the year, the GDP, the MCAP, and also the all share index. And the next thing for you to do is to click on OK. You can skip this row, whichever way you want, this first row. And then also, you can also change the name of your data set. For example, let me type GDP1. Automatically, it's changed. You can change the name as well, whatever way, any adjustment. Then you click on OK, next. And then your data is ready for importation, finished. So you have to click yes as well. So the data set is imported in your eViews. So the next thing for you to do is to open to check your data set. You click on this, you press on control, you click on ESI your data, you click on GDP1, MCAP, and also the year if you want, and also you right click, you open as a group. So this is it. Then this is your data set. So you can exclude the year. This is your ASI, the GDP1, and the MCAP. So this is how to import your data set in your eViews. You can do it manually, or you can also import the Excel sheet into your eViews. So with this, you're ready for descriptive analysis. You're ready for explorations. You are ready to analyze your data. So thank you for watching.